Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. My name is Marla Billinghurst. I will be chairing the panel this afternoon. With me today are Ms. Lynn Nesbitt and Mr. Richard Whitbread. The assessor for the city of Winnipeg is Mr. Roddy Pontanilla, and our recording secretary is Ms. Belen Rowe. We will be hearing applications for revision of the business assessment role in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act and the City of Winnipeg Charter. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision, and the Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration, and makes its decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing, and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with the board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed with each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish, and once all of the evidence about an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. And as information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. We will be hearing items 1 through 10 on our docket today. Ms. Rojo, please affirm the assessor's and the applicant's testimony.
Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Rodrigo Fontanilla.
Can you affirm the evidence you're about to present at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Eric Neufeld.
And you affirm the evidence you're about to present at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first matter we will be hearing on the docket this morning is 681 Corden Avenue. Mr. Pontanilla, please proceed when you are ready.
Okay, thank you. Up next, we have file 22-4674. This is the 2023 BA year that we're speaking of. The address is 681 Corden Avenue. The business assessment ID or the bid is 18785. And we are speaking of Saffron's Restaurant. The total annual rental value is $69,420. The total area we have on file is 3,218 square feet, which gives us an overall annual rental value per square foot of $21.57. Following that, we do have the income stream for the subject. So we do have the premise area there at 3,218 square feet. And we have a base rental rate of $19.08 per square foot, which gives us a base annual rental value of $61,399. And then from there, we do have occupancy costs that are added on at 3,218 square feet, which gives us a revised total annual rental value of $69,420. So we do have a subject lease on the current tenant that's there. I will note that the lease was written back in 1992, so it's a long-term lease. And we do have 4,500 square feet reported at $13.07 per square foot. On my rent comparables, I have included a list of rent comparables that are all similar in use to the subject. Some of them have newer leases, the newest one being in November of January of, or May of 2018 for 660 Osborne Street. But then I have a range of lease starts, and the areas ranging from, we have about 1,200 square feet on the lower end to around 3,700 square feet on the higher end. And that gives us rental rates ranging from $15.73 on the lower end to $23.50 on the higher end. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions for the assessor?
Yeah, just going through your comps, I'm looking at the other two on Court and mainly 720. That one appears to be recently updated and upgraded. Would you agree?
I would agree to that.
And would you say that the subject property is recently, or I guess modern?
I don't have the permit information in front of me, but from my, just going off my memory, it appears to be an average building. I'm not sure if there's been any major renovations done recently.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Sorry, Ms. Nesbitt, do you have any questions? You're muted. Ms. Nesbitt. Oh.
I am muted. Now I'm not. Okay. I do have a couple questions on your rent comparables.
Yep.
First of all, with respect to the nature of these restaurants, are they similar in nature, a small independent type restaurant? Are they chains or?
The only one that I can see that might be a chain, I'm a little unsure, would be 1440 McPhillips Street, which is Asia City. So I'm not sure if that's a chain restaurant, if it's a local, but the other ones appear to be local in nature. You could ask me about any one of them, and I have the tenant names here, but none of them are jumping out at me as being any sort of chain restaurants or anything of that use.
Okay, can I ask you about which each one of them are?
Sure. Do you want me to start from the top?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so 2615 Portage, that's Little Goat Food and Drink.
Okay.
129 Osborne Street is Carlos and Murphy's.
Mm-hmm.
1440 McPhillips was Asia City, as I had just mentioned. 3315 Portage Avenue is a Sal's. 720 Corden Avenue, that was, we have here as, I believe it's Siraj Hookah. It looks like a hookah lounge, I guess.
Okay.
771 Henderson, that's Gondola. So that one might be, I guess, more of a pizza style of use, but nonetheless, it still has a standalone restaurant.
Is it an eat-in or just takeout?
I believe there's an eat-in component as well for that
Okay.
one.
Okay.
774 Corden Avenue, that's Cocoa Beans Bake Shop.
Okay.
470 Osborne is Diner's Choice.
Yep.
And the last one there is the Oakwood Bistro.
Pardon me, did you say Oakwood?
The Oakwood Bistro, correct.
Okay. So would you say that in terms of location, a Portage Avenue, McPhillips Street might be a little bit more superior in terms of location?
Those
or?
could be regional. If you look at them as regional roads that the restaurants are attached to from that perspective, sure. They could be considered, I guess, to have more traffic that goes in front. Sometimes with the nature of these subject properties, I do have to sort of look for the best overall comparables using the lease information that we can take a look at. So some of them that might be more nearby, they might be owner occupied, and we just don't have any reliable information on the leases that they have currently in place. So we just sort of have to work with the data that we have there.
Of course, yeah. So it's your contention that this April 1992 lease is outdated and does not reflect market. Would that be correct?
That would be my opinion on it. I haven't seen anything to change that, but as of now, that is what I would say, correct.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Sorry. Mr. Whitbread, do you have any questions?
They were asked and answered.
Thank you, as were mine. So, Mr. Neufeld, please proceed.
A quick follow-up question that just came up, if that's okay.
Sure.
1440 McPhillips, I bring this up because that is a client of ours. $21, is that possibly gross?
You know what? I don't have the income and expense mailer information in front of me, so I'm relying at some of the work that my colleagues did to input the data. Typically, if you see any of these come up, they would be net leases, so I can't say whether it is or it isn't.
Okay, thank you. So I move into my presentation then.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. Just quickly, I guess it's not in my evidence, but I do have 1440 McPhillips. Our number that we reported to the Board of Revision was 1318 net. I think 21 appears to be gross, but it's not a huge deal because I don't think it's comparable for today. The rent we're relying heavily on is, or really solely on, is the Tommy's Pizzeria on 842 Corridon. That's just down the street from the subject at $15.99, $16. It's similar local restaurant. It's an older building similar to this one. It was a former bank. It was I guess a bit more recently updated, I would say. But in terms of market area and the type of restaurant, very similar. Obviously a pizza place, but it's a sit down pizza place. It's not like they do delivery. It's pizza, but so does Saffron. So really, that I would just say that we're relying on that 842 Corridon rent on page 3, and that's really the argument here that we're doing today. In the past, yeah, we aren't relying on the paid rent. That is the paid rent, but it's been there forever, and I think the ownership's had it's been a bit of a stall where there was the former owner passed away, and it's gone to I guess a widow, and it's never been updated or changed. So I think it's fair not to rely on that 1307 from 1992, almost as old as me. So that's yeah. But yeah, so that would be our request is $59,540 based on the $16 a square foot down the street at Tommy's Pizzeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pontinia, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nesbitt.
Yes, my question would be, you're relying on 842 Corridon just down the street. What about the Corridon properties that are even closer, brought by the assessor at $23.02 and $17?
So 770. Okay, so 720 Corridon is, as you mentioned, a hookah bar. It's recently renovated. I just quickly looked at the pictures. We don't have any here today, but I don't know if I can ask you to Google it, but I would just maybe if you can. I really don't know. Then I would suggest I don't think it's necessarily comparable. You've got it's smaller. It's basically a strip, and it is recently renovated. It looks like in 2019 it was completely redone. I think even on Google you can see the fences in front of it. And then 774 Corridon is a coffee shop. I don't think I mean, the rent is a little closer to what we're looking at, but when you're looking at a smaller coffee shop, economies of scale, the 17 to 16 I don't think is very different. If you were to extrapolate that to our size, then it might go down to 16 if you do that kind of data analysis. And of course, too, it is a coffee shop, so it's not the most comparable, but it does paint a picture of the market area quite well, I would say.
Okay. Does Saffron's restaurant have a patio?
They do, yes.
And does that make a difference in terms of its rent?
A patio would be more desirable, yes. Tommy's Pizza does have, I would say, a better patio than Saffron's. It's
the
covered.
Same. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. It's so. I guess Saffron's would be maybe bigger. That's hard to say. It's pretty comparable. Whereas Tommy's Pizza has it's on concrete. It's on the ground. It's a little more stable. Saffron's is just an old deck that's been there. I would think if somebody new were to go into Saffron, they would likely redo the patio. I think it's quite dated itself, but yes, the patio does make it more attractive.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread.
I have none, thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. Is there a need for summary from either party?
No need on my part, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. We can move on to the next matter. Excuse me. It is 656 St. James Street. So, Mr. Pontinia, please proceed when you're ready.
Okay, I'm just opening up my files now. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so up next, we have file 22-4474. The roll year is 2023. The address is 656 St. James Street. The bid is 21391, and we are speaking of a Tony Roma's ribs restaurant. So the total annual rental value that we have in place is $231,120, and that is driven by an area of 6,420 square feet and an overall rental value, or an overall annual rental value of $36 per square foot. So following that, we do have the income stream for the subject. So we do have 6,420 square feet, and we have it at a base rental rate of $33.50 per square foot. From there, that does give us a base annual rental value of $215,070. And then from there, we do add on the occupancy costs, which gives us the total annual rental value of $231,120. It appears that we do have a lease in place for the subject. So we do have a lease starting back from 2003, and we have that at 6,400 square feet at $26.41 per square foot. Following that, I do have my comparables, and we do have a range. Oh, you know what? I apologize. And I do have a recommendation to make. Sorry. I was getting into my comparables, but I actually have a recommendation to make on this file. And so my recommendation on this file is originally we had it at $33.50 per square foot at 6,420 square feet. And then when you add on the occupancy costs, you do get $231,120. And my recommendation is to revise the rental rate to $30 per square foot. So at $30 per square foot, using 6,420 square feet, we do have a revised rental value of $192,600. And then when you tack on the occupancy costs, we have an overall annual rental value of $208,680. And so
Sorry.
208,680 is my recommendation.
286. And what was the base? Sorry.
$30 per square foot.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Neufeld?
No, we would not be in agreement with that one. It's the only one we're arguing against the recommendations today. So.
Okay, sorry. So, Mr. Pontinia?
Sure. Sorry about that. I kind of went out of my presentation order. Anyway,
Okay.
just to wrap up, I do have, we had left off of my comparables there. And so I have included some comparables, which has lease starts ranging from 2015 at the lower end up to 2020 at the higher end. And we do have areas ranging from 1,350 at the lower end to 6,320 square feet at the higher end. And then we do have rental rates ranging from $27 at the lower end to $34 at the higher end. So that shows that the $30 appears to be within market. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions for Mr. Pontinia?
Yes, please. What is the age of the subject property?
Oh, you're asking me a question that's not in the brief. Let me just see if there's something I could find out for you. 1 second. So we have an age of 2005 is the overall effective age that we have on it.
Effective, yeah, but year built was, you have the year built?
I don't have that. I just have the overall effective age that we have of 2005.
That's fine. And then I'm mostly just curious because I can see this one. I think I can see this from outside my window. 675 Weatherden. Is that the Indian restaurant that used to be there?
Yep.
It is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, I guess in the area you've got 1485 Portage. Is that inside the mall or is that?
That's a Joey's Grill. So
Joey's. Okay. Would Joey's be a bit newer than, or I guess it was, what you know roughly when Joey's was in the 2000s or so? The year built for Joey's was about the 2000s or so. Does that sound?
2006.
6, awesome. Okay. And then, so we're not relying, you're not relying on the rent in place. I'm assuming because it's 18 years old.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an older rent rate that's in place. So I was just using market indicators as to the market rent.
Okay, so this rent of 2641, I'm assuming that's what it was effective, or I know it to be effective April 1st, 2021. Do you have what rent was paid for April 1st, 2018?
Sorry, can you say that again, Ayrton? For
the net rate for last cycle, was it a different value for April 1st, 2018? Do you have that?
So if you're asking me what the rental rate that we had last cycle on it was?
No, the paid rent of last cycle.
Yeah, I wouldn't have that in front of me. Sorry.
Okay. So in the lease, if there is a step up, like if the rent is increased for these long leases, would you consider that more reliable as it is sort of reflecting that the market does increase?
Yep,
Okay.
That would be a reflection of market data.
Cool, great, thank you. Those are my questions.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nesbitt, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. And my questions again relate to the rent comparables and what restaurants they are.
Okay. Did you want me to do the same as last time? We'll start from the top.
Yeah, please. I know that the first one is an Indian restaurant.
It's called Tandoori. Yeah, it's an Indian restaurant.
Okay, Tandoori, yeah.
1132 Portage Avenue, that's a Cilantro's.
Okay.
Or it's called Cilantro's, not a Cilantro's. But...
Yeah, okay.
1475 Henderson Highway, that's Boston Pizza. 1485 Portage Avenue, as I mentioned, was Joey's Grill.
Okay.
1515 Portage Avenue is Earl's. 2419 Main Street is a Brown's Social Club.
Yeah.
And 1180 Grant is a Finn McCool's.
Okay.
So again, we're just sort of working with the data that we have there to try to match up some comparables.
Okay. And St. James, would you consider that a superior location?
I mean, it's a fairly busy hub there. It's if memory serves me correct, it's just across the street from Polo Park, so definitely doesn't lack in visibility. It's right within a commercial section, one could say. But with that being said, it's not on a major road, so that can be taken into account as well, I suppose.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I have no other questions.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Nor do I. Is there a need for summary from either party?
I
No need.
haven't presented.
Sorry?
Mr. Neufeld.
Yeah.
Mr. Neufeld needs to present his evidence.
Oh. I jumped ahead of myself here. I'm so sorry. That was
I'm not sure if I should be worried about that or if that's a good.
That one was on me. I'm sorry. These afternoon, I've already lived a whole day before the
Yeah,
start.
fair enough.
Sorry about that.
No worries. No,
Sorry.
no.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. No, that's fine. Actually, no, I'm kidding. Sorry. No. Basically, we're just looking for the paid rent. The reason I asked the assessor about step ups in 2020, the paid rent, or sorry, the 2020 cycle, so April 1st, 2018, the paid rent was $24.38, and today the paid rent is $26.41. So there is a step up in that lease. Longer leases are common for restaurants. It happens. You can actually see just the assessor's evidence. There's only 2 there that are 5 years, and those are the Polo Park ones. It is more common, and the fact that there is a step up does reflect better that it is, there is a consideration for time and the fact that the market does increase. The one thing I will mention is the building is built in 1986. They had an effective age of 2003 or 6, I think he said. These 2 other Portage ones that the assessor brought forward, the Earls and the Joeys, those would have been built around that same time that the effective age of 656 James, they're calling it. And those are much nicer, I would say. A 1986 restaurant is going to just not be as nice as one that was built 20 years later. I think that's that's realistically why it would be a lower rent than those other Polo Park ones. And of course, too, it's not on Polo Park. I think Polo Park does command, even though it's right across the street, will command a bit better because you can park there, you can go into the mall. It adds the fact that there's always people coming around, and you stop by and have a drink kind of thing. But that, I mean, realistically does kind of account for the differences is mostly the age and being slightly across the street, so slightly different area. And of course, it is a paid rent, so we would consider it a very good indicator of market value at $26.41. And our requests, I'm looking at the wrong brief, and so to make up our request of 185,020 based on the paid rent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pontinia, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nesbitt.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbrad.
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Nor do I. So I can try this again. Does anyone have a need for summary?
No summary on my part, thanks.
No, thank you. No bad jokes from me either. I'll leave that one.
Okay, great. We can move on to the next matter. Sorry, let me just make one note. Sorry, thank you very much. All right, the next matter on the docket is 1405 Portage Avenue. So, Mr. Pontinia, whenever you are ready.
All right, thank you. So up next, we have file 22-4324. The roll year is 2023. The address is 1405 Portage Avenue. The bid ID is at 24783. And the business name is Ray and Jerry's Steakhouse. So the total annual rental value that we have in place is $233,820. And this is driven by a total area of 17,896 square feet, which gives us an overall annual rental value price per square foot of $13.07. So on the income stream, we do have two components. The first component is the main floor at 10,421 square feet. And we have that at a base rental rate of $17.02, which gives us a base annual rental value of $177,365. And then from there, we do have occupancy costs added on, and those are at 10,421 square feet for a total occupancy cost of $26,053, which gives us a revised annual rental value of $203,400. The second component is what I believe to be a basement component, and we have that at 7,475 square feet. And the rental rate that we have in place is $4.07 per square foot, which gives us a base annual rental value of $30,423. And then we have reduced the occupancy cost down to 1 per square foot. So that gives us a total occupancy cost of $3 rounded, I suppose, which gives us the total annual rental value for the basement component of $30,420, which then brings us to the total annual rental value of $233,820. So we are, the subject is owner occupied, and so we don't have any lease information on there. And for my rent comparables, I have included comparables that they are all used once again in a similar fashion to the subject in the sense that they're freestanding restaurants. And we do have leases starting from 2014 at the lower end up to 2019 at the higher end. We have areas ranging from, I believe it's roughly 2,100 square feet at the lower end to 5,600 square feet at the higher end. And we do have rental rates ranging from, looks to be $18 at the lower end and up to $23.50 at the higher end. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions?
Yes. So this second entry is a basement. It's a little unusual to see a basement added to a restaurant roll. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say.
Yeah. And then I guess, like, are they serving food down there to your knowledge, or any of that?
I'm not fully aware, but I was aware because I did work on this during the realty appeal, so I did get some more information on it. And from my understanding, it is used to I think there might be storage. I think there might be some other components used, but it does aid the business. So it is used
Okay. And then,
from the business.
so why do we have no occupancy costs on it? Is there not?
That I'm not sure. That was carried forward from a previous analysis, and I just carried forward what we had on file of 1 square feet was added as an override.
Okay.
So maybe they deduced that. I'm really not sure. I can't.
Okay, fair enough. And then I guess just this is all intents and purposes. I mean, I guess it's on the other side of the tracks, but this is pretty close to Polo Park, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I guess you're not using the Polo Park rents. Is that just because they're much newer and nicer? Is that fair to? Is that why?
Yeah, roughly they're newer, they're nicer. I mean, this is an owner-occupied restaurant, so I'm not going to be using comparables that appear to be sort of chain leases and whatnot. So
Okay.
I thought that what we had in place was reflective of just the market data rental rates that we have there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nesbitt, do you have any questions?
Mr. Pontinia, I note that your comparables used here are the same, or some of them are the same as in your first docket item. That would be correct.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. No, I had a question also about the square footage, but that's okay. I'm good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Whitbread, any questions?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. So, Mr. Neufeld, please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you. We use the same $16, mostly for equity reasons. I think this is similar in essence to Saffron's, except that it's an owner-occupied local restaurant. There's a lot of differences, but we kind of felt that they sort of balance each other out to use the same 16. But the city's only at 17, so that's a minor difference. The big difference would then be the basement. Now, basement is not, there are food service rules. So a basement isn't exactly allowed to have, there's a standard restaurant in it. There's food preparation restrictions on it as well. It's very uncommon to actually see food services even utilize their basement for more than anything than box storage and that kind of thing. I mean, it's, my pictures do kind of show that it's, they're not the greatest pictures, but they're showing kind of the finishing of the basement, and just that it's it's a basic basement that you're not getting people down there. And I would contend, I mean, I have to look through all the assessor's comps, but I would expect that all these would have basements as well, and that they would not be included in that reported area. I'm a bit, I can't really show that, but I mean, I'm trying to see if any of ours, yeah, I mean, the Keg 115 Gary has a basement. It's an office though, so they're not using anything in it. You don't really see a basement in a restaurant, and I don't really think it's going to add a value to the restaurant itself. That's it can be used for storage, sure, but it's not. I think almost all these comps would have storage in the basement as well. That wouldn't really be showing, and that's really the essence of what we're looking at is the basement. So my request is 192,790. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pontinia, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nesbitt, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Whitbread?
I have none. Thank you.
Neither do I. All right. Is there a need for summary from either party?
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Bear with me for 1 second. The computer's being weird. Okay. Sorry. The next matter on the docket is 185 Lombard Avenue. Mr. Pontinia, please proceed when you are ready.
Okay. I think I'm ready. Okay, so up next we have file 22-4321. We have the roll year is 2023. The address is 185 Lombard Avenue. The business assessment ID is 22180, and the business name is Bailey's Restaurant and Bar. So the total annual rental value that we have in place is $227,580. The total area that we have in place is 12,578 square feet. And the overall annual rental value that we have in place per square foot is $18.09 per square foot. So there are two components to the income stream. I believe it's the main floor and the second floor. On the main floor, we do have 6,578 square feet at $17.93 per square foot, which gives us a base annual rental value of $117,944. And then from there, we do have the occupancy costs at the area of 6,578 square feet, which gives us a total annual rental value for the main floor of $134,400. On the second floor, we have 6,000 square feet at $13.03 per square foot, which brings us to a base annual rental value of $78,180. And then from there, we do have occupancy costs added on at 6,000 square feet, which gives us the total annual rental value of $93,180 and brings us to our total annual rental value of $227,580. And we don't have any lease information on the subject as it is owner occupied. And then for my rent comparables, I have included comparables ranging from lease starts from 2014 up to 2019, and areas once again ranging from 2,000 square feet at the lower end to 5,600 square feet at the higher end. Rents ranging from $17.40 at the lower end up to $23.50 at the higher end. And I believe that is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, do you have any questions?
We have, I guess it's coming up in the next couple properties, the King's Head property. Would you argue that this is comparable to the King's Head, or would it be better or worse in major ways?
I'd argue it's comparable. They seem to be within the same neighborhood, same type of building.
Okay. Those are my only questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nesbitt, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread.
I have nothing, thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. So, Mr. Neufeld, please proceed when you're ready.
Thank you. I'm going to start off by correcting my request. This was done by someone in our office. We've been, we have having a bit of difficulty with getting a lot of our work product out. It was a very busy cycle for us. I do believe, I know Rocky did actually adjust these rents on Realty, but these were the same ones that were in the brief. So I will be changing my rents to 12 and 10. So 12 on the main and 10 on the second. The total request, and I like that it lines quite well up with the 2020 assessment as some increase is $170,380. And that all that would be changing is the main floor going to $12 and the second floor going to 10. The reason being, I mean, this building was built in 1900s. This is you're going to see a lot of difficulties renting this. It's been running as an restaurant for quite some time. I think they almost hardly use the upper floor, and they might use it for events in the second floor, and the main floor does have a bit of after work traffic, but obviously since COVID, that has been a bit trickier for all these restaurants. In terms of rent, I think they're a bit older, but 177 Lombard, number 13 and 14, down the street at Brooklyn Bistro, that would be a main floor and a second floor. We're going a little higher than that for the age, and just higher for the age. I think they're actually quite comparable in terms of quality and age. But sorry, higher for the age of the lease. So we're going to 12 and 10. But the building themselves are they're both Lombard older buildings. So I think that more accurately represents this building. Again, the main thing being that it was built in 1900. It's going to have some challenges. So my request for 170,380. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pontania. Any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nesbitt.
I have no questions, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread.
Just to confirm that Your 173.80 includes your occupancy of 31,445.
Correct. That has not changed.
Thank you.
The total rental base value would be 138,936.
Right.
Then there's some rounding in there.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
No further questions.
Thank you. My question was just answered, so thank you very much. Is there a need for summary from either party?
And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We can move on to the next item, which is 115 Gary Street. Mr. Pontinia, please proceed when you are ready.
Just give me 1 second. I think I opened up the wrong brief there. Just loading. I want to make sure I give the right numbers. And it looks like it's good to go. Okay. I think that's the last window. Yes. Okay. So up next, we do have file 22-4490. The roll year is 2023. The address is 115 Gary Street. The business assessment ID is 20309. And we are speaking of the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. The total annual rental value that we have in place is $199,500. And that's driven by a total square footage of 7,942 square feet, which gives us an overall price per square foot of $25.12. So on the income stream, we do have one premise associated, and we do have that at a base rental rate of $22.62 per square foot, which gives us a base annual rental value of $179,648. And then from there, we do add on the occupancy cost at 7,942 square feet, which brings us to our total annual rental value of $199,500. We do have a lease in place for the subject, and it does appear to be newer as it was signed August 1st, 2019. It's at 8,688 square feet at $16.33 per square foot. And I do have a recommendation to make on this file. And so my recommendation to make was some work that was done during the realty appeal. And so I was just carrying forward the work that had been previously done. And so we did have that $22.62 per square foot at 7,942 square feet, which brings us to the total annual rental value of $199,500. And the revision was to reduce the rental rate to $22.50. So not too big of a drop there, but nonetheless, I'm just carrying forward what some work was done. And that brings us to a total annual rental value of $178,695. Or sorry, that's the base annual rental value. And then once you include the occupancy costs, the total revised annual rental value is $198,540. And that is my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld.
Yeah, we agreed to a 15-1 in realty for this one. It's a small change, but we accept it.
You're accepting it? Okay, great. Ms. Nesbitt, do you have any questions about this?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you please repeat the new base ARV per square foot?
Yeah, it's fairly close, but so originally it was $22.62 was the rental rate, and then it got revised to $22.50. And so once you add on the occupancy cost, the total ARV is $198,540. $198,540.
So you're looking at a decrease of less than $1,000. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread. Any questions?
No, I have none. Thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. Okay, thank you. So we can move on to the next matter, which is 120 King Street. Mr. Pontinia, please proceed when you're ready.
Okay, just opening up the file now.
Of course.
Okay, so up next we have file 22-4649. The roll year is 2023. The address is 120 King Street. The business assessment ID is 21582. And the business name that we have is the King's Head Pub and Eatery. So the total annual rental value is $162,300. The total area we have is 13,500 square feet. And the total annual rental value price per square foot is $12.02. And so on the subject, we do have quite a few premises, but I believe that they are split into the main floor, second floor, and I believe the third floor, or there could be a basement space there. I do have it written down if we needed to know. I could tell you exactly what the spaces are, but they are allocated into their two uses. I believe it's there's a restaurant component and a retail component. And so accordingly, we do have that broken up. So we have 2,625 square feet at $16.43 per square foot. And then we have 2,625 square feet at $2.77 per square foot. 1,875 square feet at $15.74 per square foot. 1,875 square feet at $1 per square foot. 2,625 square feet at $11.86 per square foot. And 1,875 square feet at $11.36 per square foot. And then when you include all the occupancy costs on that, minus premise 31017, which appears to have the occupancy cost nullified, we do have the total annual rental value in place of $162,300. And I do have a recommendation to make on this file.
Okay, go ahead.
So like I said, there are many premises involved. So if you want, I can just give you the premises that we have in place here and then the rental rate that's in place.
Sure.
So for premise 1,500 or 15,660, 15660. We do have, sorry, I just had to switch something there. We do have the rental rate of $2.77 per square foot. And that does appear to be carried over. You know what, if you just give me, for some reason, some of my values seem to have, sorry, my rental rate values seem to be off there. Okay, so for premise 15660, we have $2.77 per square foot. That premise doesn't change, so we maintain the same rental rate on that one at $2.77 per square foot at 2,625 square feet. For premise 15661, the rental rate was $15.74 at 1,875 square feet. That rental rate is now being reduced to $12.85 per square foot. And that was for the same area of 1,875 square feet. For premise 31910, the original rental rate in place was $11.36 at 1,875 square feet. And that was reduced to $9.60 at 1,875 square feet. For premise 31017, the rental rate that was originally put in place by the model was $3.93 per square foot, and that was for 1,875 square feet. And the revision there was to reduce it to $1 per square foot at 1,875 square feet. For premise 31909, the original rental rate was $16.43, and that was at 2,625 square feet. And then the revision was reduced to $11.86 at 2,625 square feet. And then for the final premise I have, premise 15659, the original value was $16.43 at 2,625 square feet. And that was revised to $11.86 at 2,625 square feet. And I believe once you add all those values up, the total revised annual rental value is now going to be $143,880, and that includes all the utility costs. So 143,880.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld.
Yeah, we are in agreement. This is just a little messy. I'm wondering if
Yeah,
you
it is
could,
Wesley Hills.
yeah, no, and
It's a
I
difficult
just,
one. There's a lot of premises associated, so.
yeah, and we did agree to a basement on realty, so I'm not arguing against that. I don't think it adds value personally, but we agreed to it for that reduction, so it's fine here today. I'm wondering though, if you could tell me the average price per square foot of the main and second floors that will be now applied. I know that's a bit
Okay, if you
bit
want
of
me to
work,
do that, it's
but
gonna take a minute because I'd have to open up the document to point me to which premises are on the main floor. So if you just,
okay. I mean, I guess the reason I'm asking is mostly just due to the changes I submitted for 185 Lombard. I'm inclined to say that they line up with my request, so that's all. There's a lot of different numbers here.
I know there are a
That's
lot
fine.
of.
So Mr. Pontonia, if you could just take a minute and
Sure. Yeah.
let the board know, please.
Okay. You guys want to take a 5-minute recess while I did this? I just have to allocate some things to the spreadsheet I have just to make sure I'm giving you guys the right numbers.
Sure. You know what? It seems like a good time for a
You want to
recess
take 5
anyway.
minutes? Okay, yeah, take maybe 5-10 minutes, and then when you come
Sure.
back, I
So
should
what?
have it all
So
figured out for you.
why don't we come back at 2:15? Will that give you enough time? That's 10
Yeah,
minutes.
that should be fine.
Is
Yeah,
that good for everybody?
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. See you then. Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome back, everybody. Mr. Pontonia, I believe you have revised your calculations.
Yep. And so I just wanted to start off by saying that I apologize for the confusion. As previously mentioned, this premise or this subject has a lot of premises associated with the income stream. And it's a little
Yes.
difficult to present because some of the values that you see in the brief when I do my presentation, some of those rental rates had actually already been adjusted from one of my colleagues who worked on this file at the realty
Oh.
level. And so there was adjustments to the rental rates that were made for some of the premises, but it might not necessarily reflect what's being shown in the brief that was generated because the new rental rates are already put in place. So it doesn't show that there was a reduction, but there was a reduction. But I can go through every single one once again, just so we're nice and clear. I have them all written out in front of me here.
Okay.
Starting from the start again, premise 15660, that was an 08 basement premise. That premise isn't changing. So that one is staying at $2.77 per square foot. And that's for 2,625 square feet. As well, you'll notice that for the occupancy costs, we have occupancy in place. We have costs in place for heating, electricity, water, but we have only one. In other words, we have it reduced for the air conditioning. So at some point, one of our assessors must have deduced that there was no AC, and so we took away the cost for that section. And for that reason, that's why we had one. So that one stays the same at 12,900. Premise 15661, that's the C2 premise on the first floor. That premise originally went out and modeled when it was generated, was modeled at $15.74 per square foot. And that's at 1,875 square feet. So the total annual rental value for that one originally was $34,200. That was reduced to $12.85 per square foot. And using the same area and occupancy costs, the annual rental value was reduced to $28,800. $28,800. Premise 31910, that's the C2 premise on the second floor. That premise had the rental rate reduced from the original modeled value of $11.36 per square foot. That was reduced to $9.60 per square foot. And we do have all the occupancy costs in place, which brings us to the revised annual rental value of $22,680, 22680.
Sorry, and you said that was third floor?
That was the second floor. So actually, I don't
sorry.
believe there is a third floor. So there's a basement that's split into two, and then there's the main floor split into two, and the second
okay.
floor split into two. So that's on the second
sorry.
floor.
Sorry, thank you. Sorry, thank you
Yeah,
for
no
clear.
problem.
Okay, go on.
Okay, and then so following that, we have 31017. That's also a premise that's in the basement. So that premise was reduced from $3.93 per square foot at 1,875 square feet. That was reduced to $1 per square foot at 1,875 square feet. And as well, there's no occupancy costs in place. So the total annual rental value for this premise is $1,860. 1860. Following that, we have premise 31909. That's the C4 or the restaurant, presumably premise on the second floor. That one, the rental rate originally was $16.43 per square foot at 2,625 square feet. That was reduced to $11.86 per square foot at 2,625 square feet with the same area for occupancy costs to bring us a total annual rental value revised of $37,680 rounded. And then the last premise we have, 15659, that's the C4 premise on the first floor. That premise also was $16.43 at 2,625 square feet. And that one also has been reduced to $11.86 at 2,625 square feet. And when you add all of those premises up, the total annual rental value, I'm actually revising it down a little bit. The total ARV is now $141,600. $141,600. And that's about as clear as I can get on that one.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, any questions or comments?
Quickly, premise ID 1565, or sorry, both 120 Kings. Are they both at 1186 up main and second floor now?
I believe so, yeah. So I guess during the review on it, it was just deduced to give it an overall blended rate of 1186 for the restaurant on the first and the second floor.
Okay, so then the main floor on the other part is 1285. So
C4, 1 second.
That would be 15661.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we're looking at about 1250 or so for main floors on average. That's
roughly, I guess, yeah.
Roughly, okay, good. Okay, that's great, and we accept the recommendation.
Thank you very much, Ms. Nesbitt.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread.
None, thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. So thank you very much. So I'm just making a note. Okay, perfect. We can move on to the next matter on the docket then, which is 164 Stafford Street. So Mr. Pontanillo, whenever you are ready.
Okay. 1 second here to get oriented.
There we go.
Okay, so maybe I'll just start off to be clear that there is a recommendation on this file as well.
Okay.
And so we have file 22-4661. The roll year is 2023. The address is 164 Stafford Street. The business assessment ID is 39314. And the business name is The Grove Pub and Restaurant. The total annual rental value that we have in place is $84,480. This is driven by a total area of 5,161 square feet at $16.37 per square foot. So we have two premises associated with this subject. We do have, did you guys want me to tell you what those are? Maybe I should just prepare for this for the questions that are gonna.
Okay.
So we have two premises. One of them is a basement premise, so an 08, a basement restaurant premise, and the other one is a main floor C4. So on the main floor, we have 2,924 square feet. We have that at $21.87 per square foot, originally modeled, which gives us a total base annual rental value of $63,948. And then we have included all the occupancy costs on there to give us a revised annual rental value for the main floor of $71,280, or original annual rental value, I should say. And then on the basement, we have 2,237 square feet at $3.76 per square foot, which gives us a base annual rental value of $8,411. And then we have included occupancy costs for all three utility rates, except for air conditioning by the appearance of it. And so that revises the annual rental value for the basement premise to $13,200, or brings us to our total annual rental value of $84,480. And so as previously mentioned, I do have a recommendation to make. And so
Mhm.
after a review of the file, it was deemed that there was a rental rate adjustment to be made on the main floor. So on the main floor, the rental rate was reduced from $21.87 per square foot to $17 per square foot. And using the same area of 2,924 square feet, once you add on the occupancy cost, that revises the annual rental value to $57,000 rounded. For the basement premise, we just kept it at model at $3.76. And then using the parameters in place, we do have the revised rental rate of $13,200, which brings us to our total revised annual rental value to recommend of $70,200. So 7,200.
70,200.
Yeah,
Okay.
70200.
Perfect.
That's my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Neufeld.
We are in agreement. We agreed to that. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, Ms. Nesbitt, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Nor do I. Great, thank you. So we can move on to the next matter, which is 2553 Portage Avenue. Mr. Pontinia, please proceed when you're ready. They're like a weird noise, or is that just on my end?
I didn't hear anything, sorry.
I
Okay,
can hear
sorry.
some, it sounds like wind blowing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay to continue?
Yes.
Okay. So up next, we have file 22-4492. The roll year is 2023. The address is 2553 Portage Avenue. The business assessment ID, is 30921. And the business name is the Keg Steakhouse and Bar. So the total annual rental value that we have in place is $298,800. That's being driven by a total square footage of 8,275 square feet, which gives us a total overall annual rental value of $36.11 per square foot. So for the income stream, we do have one premise associated at 8,275 square feet, and we have a base rental rate in place of $33.61 per square foot, which gives us a base annual rental value of $278,123. And then once we add on the occupancy cost to that, we have a total annual rental value of $298,800. We don't have any lease information on the subject as it appears to be owner occupied. And then following that, I have included once again a list of comparable properties that are all used as restaurants, although of course they might vary in terms of their finish and final use, but they are all used as restaurants more or less. And we do have the lease ranges here from 2012 on the lower end to 2020 on the higher end. Well, we actually have one from 1994 as well, so that's a much older lease. And then we do have rental rates reported from 1,000 square feet at the lower end up to 7,501 square feet at the higher end. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Neufeld, any questions?
Yes, just 191 Main. I've never really seen that presented before. Is that that's Earl's?
That's
correct?
the Earls, yeah.
Does that include the giant parking lot next to it on Main Street?
You know what, we have it listed as 7,501 square feet, so I'm not sure if that would include that. I haven't taken a look at the actual lease. It is a much higher lease.
Okay.
So I'm not relying on that as my number one market indicator, but it's just one of the many that we have on file.
Okay, and then Henderson, you said was a Boston Pizza. Was that built to suit for them? Like, would there be kitchen equipment included in that rent? And
I think so. I want to say that I think so, but again, I haven't looked at the exact lease or anything.
Okay. And then the other high one I noticed, 1873 Portage. That's the Pizza.
That's Pizza, yeah.
And it's 1,000 square. Okay, right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nesbitt, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Whitbread.
I have none either, thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. So Mr. Neufeld, please proceed when you're ready.
Thank you. This is the Keg in St. James area on Portage Avenue. The rent we're using is the same as the St. James Port. I guess we'll call it the Polo Park Pony Corral. The thinking being that while this is newer, they're both premium dining, and this location counteracts the location being Polo Park as a better location counteracts or balances the age. So we're just using the exact same rent that Tony Roma's had. And I think that makes a bit of sense. Obviously, this building is a bit newer. It'll be a bit nicer, but Polo Park is a more desirable area for virtually every form of retail. So yeah, that's all it really boils down to is that's our request for that rent at $230,960. Yeah, all in all, I think it's a good comp for this property. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Pontini, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Nesbitt, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Whitbread, any questions?
Just one. Your rental space is 7,989 versus the city's 8,275, 286 square foot difference. Can you explain what that's for?
I just noticed that as I was looking at it, and I feel as though ours would be measurements, so I'm not entirely sure. Let me just try to see what. I'm guessing a measurement difference, to be honest, because it's so small. But I just want to see if our realty is the same. Yeah, so we're actually just using the number that was reported by the owner on their income and expense mailer, 7989. It seems to have been that way 2016 I'm looking at. Yeah, we've been using that same rent or same area since the 2016 appeal. So my guess is it's a difference in measurements, but I'm not really sure why that would.
Okay, Robbie, any comment?
Yeah.
No, I have no comment. I'm just going based on the information that we had on file. So I haven't personally measured it myself, but yeah, the information that we have there is just what I have on record for it. I will say sometimes there might be a slight difference in terms of the measurements, whether they're using a BOMA standard or not, or if they're going to the outside wall versus the indoor, there could be some differences in how they're measured. But in terms of directly, I haven't measured it myself. So
Thank you. No further questions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just to follow up that, Roddy, you think it could possibly be part of the patio?
could be. Again, I haven't taken a close look at the
Yeah, I know.
floor plans or anything, so I don't really want to speculate on
Yeah, that's
what it
fair.
would be, but there's a chance that it could be. Yeah, there could be a difference there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. My question was asked and sort of answered. So, so we will go with that. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes for 1 second. Okay. Sorry. I'm just reviewing. I just want to make sure I didn't. I thought I had another question. I'm just reviewing for 1 second. Nope. Okay. I'm good. I just wanted to make sure not have to come back to it. Okay. I was writing a lot. Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. We can move on to the next matter, which is 1500 Pembina Highway. So Mr. Pontanillo, when you are ready, please go ahead.
All right, thank you. So up next, we have file 22-4475. The roll year is 2023. The address is 1500 Pembina Highway. The business assessment ID is 889, and the business name is Tony Romas. So we do have the original modeled valuation. We have $207,840 was the total annual rental value in place. And this was being driven by a total area of 8,350 square feet and an overall annual rental value price per square foot of $24.89. Following that, we do have the original valuation on the premise. We had 8,350 square feet at $22.39 per square foot. which gave us our base annual rental value of $186,956. And then from there, we add on the occupancy cost to bring us to our total annual rental value of $207,840. And I do have a recommendation to make. And so for the recommendation, the original value, as previously mentioned, was $22.39 at 8,350 square feet. That rental rate is now being revised to $21.50 at 8,350 square feet. That gives us a revised base annual rental value of $179,525. And then from there, once we add on the occupancy costs, we have a total revised annual rental value of $200,400. So $200,400.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld.
Yeah, we are in agreement. We assigned a 15-1 on that value for realty.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Ms. Nesbitt, any questions?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. All right, last but not least, 2034 McGillivray Boulevard. Mr. Pontinia, please proceed when you are ready. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Okay, so up next, we do have for our last file on the docket, 22-4491. And the roll year is 2023. The address is 2034 McGillivray Boulevard. And the business assessment ID is 35051. And we are speaking about a Keg Steakhouse and Bar. So the total annual rental value we have in place is $357,060. This is being driven by a total area of 10,152 square feet, which gives us an overall annual rental value price per square foot of $35.17. On the income stream, we do have two premises associated. Did you guys want me to tell you that? I can just prepare it here just in case you ask which ones they are. Just give me 1 second here. So we do have a main floor and then a second floor mezzanine space. So on the main floor space, we do originally have an original rental rate of $35.03 per square foot, and that was on 9,180 square feet, which gives us a base annual rental value of $321,575. From there, we do have the utility costs in place for the area of the same area, 9,180 square feet, to give us a total annual rental value for the main floor of $344,520. And then for the mezzanine space, we have 972 square feet at a rental rate of $10.37 per square foot, which gives us a base annual rental value of $10,080. And then once we add on the utility rates, we have a annual rental value of $12,540 for the second floor mezzanine, which brings us to a total modeled rate of $357,060. And so from there, the recommendation that we do have in place for this property is to revise the rental rate on the main floor. So the $35.03, the revised rental rate is now $30, which gives us a revised base annual rental value of $275,400. And then once we add on the utility costs, we do have a revised annual rental value of $298,380 for the first floor. And then the second floor is staying the same at 972 square feet at $10.37 per square foot. So that's not changing. So we do have $12,540 with the utility costs in place for the second floor, which gives us a revised annual rental value of $310,920. So 310,920.
Thank you very much, Mr. Neufeld.
We are in agreement with the number. I just had a couple of clarifying points and or questions.
Go ahead.
The 972 square feet, you have that as a mezzanine?
We have it listed as a second. It's listed as a second floor mezzanine space. So it could be either one. I don't really know I haven't inspected it myself, but that's just how we had it labeled here in the system.
Okay. My understanding was this was the office in the basement. Is that?
It could actually, you know what? It could be. Yeah, we have it as a C6, so that might have been.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
a,
That's what.
yeah,
I
that
saw.
might have been the office rate for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, all I will say is, I mean, it's a finished office in the basement, and to my knowledge, that's why we're okay with having that area contributed to this property.
Yeah. Well, then you would know more, but we do have it as a C6.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
It's reflecting of that.
And you said the base rent was being adjusted to $30, correct?
$30, yeah.
Okay. And this would be considered one of the more attractive areas of town for a restaurant. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nesbitt, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Mr. Whitbread?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you, nor do I. All right, so we have heard all the items scheduled, and this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody, and good afternoon.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon, Ayrton.
Yeah, you too. Yeah.
Yeah. Take care.